All right, how's everybody doing? And we're still here, but hey, this just keeps getting better, doesn't it? Um, and it's kind of funny how the longer you kind of stay with these things, how things just kind of work themselves out in the wash, right? For years now, this thing right here has been going around the internet, right? This little meme, this thing he posted. And, the church, of course, is in an uproar. That's blasphemy, blah, blah, blah. It's the same thing that gets me in trouble with the church, right? I've been telling you who these players are. I don't, but see, I don't have to say. I mean, you know, somewhere, someone out there, when they saw that meme, said, "Yep, that's what Scott said," or maybe they didn't. I don't know, and I don't really care because, like I said, it's not about being right or wrong. It's just a perspective. So we're in that 10th square on the hopscotch board. The death of the 10th nuclear scientist. And amazingly enough, we have another planetary alignment coming up. Neptune, Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, Mercury. I think that's today or tomorrow. Now, being the mirror of Noah, I don't know if it's just like before. It's the planets, and then the animals, or if it's going in reverse order where the planets will be the last thing to go. I'm not. Again, I don't have a crystal ball. I just see it differently, right? Just like I've showed this thing here before. Okay, so when you're talking to the players on the stage, and everybody knows, right? They all do their dinners together. They have these functions together. They're all good buddies. Supposedly you get them in public. They all hate each other. They talk bad about each other. But, I showed this a long time ago, too. Okay? And it says what we have done. It's not what I did, and it's like I said when I showed that before. It has nothing to do with a stolen elect. It has to do with identity theft. Period. It's because of what happened here that we lost our immortality, so to speak, and became slaves. It is what it is. And even going back to this thing that's all over the internet, right? Okay, but says Red Cross doctor. Okay, and so back when we had the southern border issue, and I said just turn the globe upside down, that now becomes our northern border. It's just the same story that repeats. It's the enemies from the north. And a lot of those routes that got people into this country were set up by who? The Red Cross. And I showed all that in a video back when that was going on. And the other thing that I find kind of funny, since this is a repeat, so I talked once about the 10 days. I'll come for you in 10 days. I think that's in the book of Revelation. That's because that has to do with the 10 cycles, the 10,000 years. A day is like 1,000 years. Everybody says, well, this has only been here 6,000 years, blah, blah, blah. Well, again, I've said this so much. Why do people believe what they believe? I'm sorry, I wasn't standing here and watched the Roman Empire fall. Okay, everybody's waiting for the fall of Babylon. It already happened. The Americas are the Roman Empire. They are Egypt. It's all the stories. Just change the names, point over there. Just like I said, this is like if you look at the world going on today, if you know your history, which I studied World War II a lot when I was younger, everything that's going on today went on prior to the start of World War II. And when Pearl Harbor got attacked and we basically lost our Navy, right, in that bay, in that harbor there, The aircraft carriers were not around. They were off doing exercises, right? Well, so when you add this part of the war to that part of the war, you see exactly where the aircraft carriers were. And even they're being kind of run out of there, so to speak. It is what it is. It's just, the way I see it. We got another planetary alignment. We're on the 10th square. That should be the last loop. I think each world, we talk about the 4 worlds of the Hopi prophecies, the 3 that preceded this. I think we looped through them 3 times to get to 9. There's a cat has 9 lives. Everybody's talking about Planet X out there somewhere. No, it's right here. And in fact, just like this will be something to ponder. Just like water, okay? Your body is whatever percentage of water they tell you it is, right? 90%, 85%, whatever. Water can exist in 3 different states. The same substance that we know of as water, H2O, can exist as a solid. We call that ice. It can exist as a liquid, which we refer to as water, and it can exist as a vapor, right? We call that steam or mist or whatever. Okay, same substance, 3 different states. Okay, now whether this is true or not, this is, with NASA back in the news, all these old photographs are coming back into play too, right? Hubble. Okay, and this is called the Pillars of Creation. Now, whether that looks like that or not, it doesn't matter. Okay, there's your cloud. Remember I said we used to be connected to a cloud, just like the computer iCloud? And they'll tell you that's where all the planets are birthed from. So if energy never changes, it just changes form. The energy that you are today very well could have started off right here and became a planet, because we came out of the planets, right? So you had to be in a planet to come out of a planet. And then you became the being out of the ground that we are, which it doesn't happen here, right? We come out of a different womb. Just is what it is. That's all I can show you there. That's all I'm going to say about that is, when they say that we helped create this reality, just like going back, I made a thing the other day about this guy, this Ponce, and, you've got, whatever his name is, Panama Pete, Paradise, whatever, Ponce, Pete, before it became Jeffries. I've talked about that one before. So, we've got the Parade of Planets coming up. I don't know if that'll be the end stroke, so to speak, or if we're going to have to go a few more days beyond that 10th hop, so to speak, to get back to man. But like I said, I don't have a crystal ball. I just know what I see, and the further we go down the road, the more of this stuff actually shows its face. So that's funny. I'm good with all that. So everybody have a wonderful day. I love you all. Take care. Bye-bye.